A couple seconds doesn't seem like a lot, but at 130 miles an hour, that can be the difference between a ticket or a save. So if you look at the history of Cannonball, even just like in the past 15, 20 years, when Alex went, when Ed went, and Doug and Arnie, there's always been some technological advance. Like Alex was the first modern run, and he had a spreadsheet, like a physical spreadsheet in the car of all the states with the cars that they use, the speed trap locations, and he had a Garmin for everything. He had a Garmin leading to the Santa Monica Pier. He had a Garmin for every fuel stop along the way, and he just had a Garmin for his checkpoints and a telemetry Garmin. If you ever look at the inside of the M5, it is so many screens. And then when Ed went in 2013, the new thing that he had was Trapster, or at the time, it's now going to be called Waze. And he had spotter cars with him, driving the road ahead, giving notification of where the police were, what's on the road, and road conditions. And he had more fuel. Then if you go up to 2019 with Doug and Arnie in the E63, they had, I think, like 20 or 30 spotter cars. They had the same Garmins for everything like that. They had a thermal camera on the roof. But the new thing that they had was an overhead manager who was organizing the spotters, relaying information, giving them speed updates, checkpoints, where they were. I believe it was Dan Doucette who was doing it for them in 2019 and for their COVID run of 2020. And that's kind of what I'm doing. That's what I do. I didn't know that that was a thing that people did. At the time, I just wanted to do more Cannonball stuff. I was still new to the community at the time, 2020, 21 or so. After my first experience running with Steve and spotting for him, I wanted to do more, but I knew that I couldn't constantly just drive to the red ball, spot for people, drive home. My next opportunity was a couple weeks after Steve. The guys making the run, I met one of them actually spotting with Steve, and he basically said, hey, can you do what you did for Steve? Spot for me at the red ball, take us out. And I wasn't able to make it at the time, but I said, I will try and do it remotely. I'll try and figure out how I can do what I wanted to do for you, but just at home, because I couldn't make it out. So the thought process while building my overhead system was, I'm going to build a Cannonball car in my bedroom. What can I do from my house that they can do in the car so I can give them more attention on the road? I couldn't do a radar detector or things like that that had to be in the car. So primarily, first and foremost, and the biggest screen in front of me was Waze. Waze has a website, a live map that you can view, and I found you actually get alerts a couple seconds before it hits the app, since you're directly on the server. A couple seconds doesn't seem like a lot, but at 130 miles an hour, that can be the difference between a ticket or a save. So that was first and foremost on the big center screen. Then off to the left of that, there's a big 34-inch vertical monitor, and that had things like the weather, so I could let them know what's going on 3 states ahead, a timer, a checkpoint system, Google Maps, so I could locate gas stations, what they were open, where they were on the route, and let them know you get, let's say, 600 miles in between stops. Your next gas stop is going to be around the St. Louis area. Here are your 4 options: before St. Louis, in St. Louis, or after St. Louis. And I would do this for every time they needed to stop. I'd have traffic cameras up so I could watch that. Each state actually has their own website for a live map that you can filter out for crashes, traffic, incidents, and things like that. So every state that they were in, I would have that map open on the screen as well. And it was live. It would update. So I'd say, hey, you are 50 miles away. An accident just came up. When you get to mile marker this or exit that, get in the left lane, the accident's on the right shoulder, less traffic. And this really came through in Arizona for the 33-hour, 19-minute run when there was a pothole in the road, and the comment actually said right lane. So I was able to let them know ahead of time that, hey, 2 miles ahead of you, pothole in the right lane, get left, you'll avoid it. On top of that, I had a TV. I have the monitor there, a vertical monitor there, and a TV. On top of that is Flight Radar 24, which is a great aircraft tracking software. I had a custom filter running at the time, so I was only tracking police or government aircraft along the 13 states of the Cannonball. We didn't have any aircraft along there, but like Missouri Highway Patrol, Ohio, Oklahoma, and California, they all have an aircraft division. Multiple states even have the aircraft division. And on the Bandit Run last year, in 2022, there were actually 2 planes up issuing citations. And the way that aircraft tickets work is if you've ever been driving and you see the white lines going across the lanes, they're about a quarter mile apart. They measure it, they make the marks, and then you drive over one, you drive over the other. There's an aircraft that circles overhead about a half-mile circle each way. And if they see a car that they think is going fast, approaching their section, they'll pull out a timer. And as you drive over the first line, they start it, they watch the timer, watch you. When you cross that second line a quarter mile away, they stop the timer, do some math, and because of that, they can determine you traveled 10 seconds over the quarter mile, so you were going 85, the speed limit is 80, pull them over. Then the plane lands on the highway and you get a ticket. No. The way it actually works is they radio down, there's 4 cars up ahead, let's just say on an on-ramp, and they will say there is a blue car in lane 2 that was doing 85 and an 80. And then they will follow you overhead. The police car will come down the lane, get behind you, radio up, is it this car? They'll say, yes, it's that car. You get lit up, you get pulled over. Radar detector won't go off, laser jammers won't go off. It's all visual. And you can track those with flight radar, with apps like Highway Radar, JBV1, whatever your preference is. So I was watching for the planes to let them know this town is running an aircraft in this mile marker. Go the speed limit. Wait until you are clear, and get back in it. Outside of that, I had a tablet beside me running a tracking software. Joiner is pretty much common standard issue for all of the shenanigans that we do on the roads for events. It's great software, has tracking, has chat, and you can even add the people driving can hit police marks or I need fuel. It's great for group drives. You can set routes or you can just have a free roam. And that's how I would talk with them. I'd put a message in chat for the group. Cop, mile marker, 119, sitting on the on-ramp, slow down. And you'd watch a dot, you watch it slow down. I'd get a confirmation, yep, good call, he's there. And they speed back up once they're clear, which is super nice. I only wish I could run it on my computer. Can't, it's not a Windows app. So it's on a tablet mounted to my computer. Then I have my phone, which I actually use to talk with them, running Joiner as well, sending messages to and from there. Sometimes I work directly with teams and they'll call me directly. So I don't have to go through the chat. Hey Mason, I am here. What's up ahead? And I'll say, you're here, 10 miles this, 15 miles that. Other than that, you're good up until this point. On the Bandit Run this year, the 2023, about a month or 2 before the event, a team by the name of Scuderia Bandito, who was driving a very nice Mercedes, brown on brown on brown, because we live in the same area, came up to me and asked, hey, I know you do this overhead thing. Can you do it for me? Just on this run. I'm like, yep. I already told Taylor, though, I do it for the group, but you've got priority. You have my phone number. If you need anything, call me, text me, let me know. And I will bump the other teams behind in priority. Sorry, by the way. And I'll get you what you need. Unfortunately, on the Bandit Run this year, around midnight, 1 a.m., around that time, one of the teams reported back, hey guys, on 459 near Birmingham, a tractor trailer just slammed into a pickup truck. Debris is all over the road, only one lane is getting by. You never want to hear there was an accident. Thankfully, none of us were involved. Everyone ended up being okay. It was just a mess on the highway. Only the left lane was getting by. Because of my job, I have been on scene of accidents before, and I pretty much knew the highway was going to be closed soon. And there were dots on 459, not at the accident site, but coming on. So I said, hey guys, traffic's getting by now, but it's going to be closed. You look into reroutes now. And traffic kept going until it didn't. At which point, I saw 4 dots just in park. And the 5th dot happened to be Scuderia Bandito. And I get a phone call. Hey, Mason, what's going on with this accident? And I just look at my phone, look at the accident, look at traffic starting to build. I'm like, you need to get off the highway right now. Exit 1, it's the last exit. You have to take it. I'm like, okay, I see the sign. Are we going to make it? I don't know. The red line on Waze is at that marker. You're either going to make it by an inch or you're going to be stuck. They made it, and I see the dot go off. I'm like, okay, excellent. About 5 minutes later, the accident actually clears, and those 4 dots started moving again. Sorry to the team that got the ticket on 459. I'm not saying names, I'm not saying cars because it's still relatively recent, but that was the one ticket that got issued on the Bandit this year. As weird as it is to say, I'm fine with that. Being able to get that many cars across that many states at the speeds that we were going, one ticket is not bad. I've only had 3 tickets given out on all of the cars that I've been a part of, at which point it's over 100 cars now. Between 2 bandit runs, the Alabama Hammer, which is a smaller event done by Adam, which is like a checkpoint system. It's like a race, kind of, where you start at a Buc-ee's, hit different checkpoints along the state of Alabama, like the Battleship, Space Camp, stop by Barber Motorsports. You take a picture of yourself, send it to the group, keep going. And you got to hit all the checkpoints in any order, start and finish at the Buc-ee's. I've also done various cannonballs. And when you're on a cannonball and the bandit run, you can listen to police radios remotely. There's a website that does it, but it's relying on other people's scanning, and they stream it, basically. So when I do that, I'm listening to the county ahead of them, the county that they are in, and the county behind them. Unfortunately, yes, I am awake the whole time. The bandit run was actually the worst for that because the bandit run cars leave around midnight for the first car. This year they did. I had worked a full day, so I got up at 6 a.m., worked my job, got home around 5:30. I'm like, I should probably take a nap. I didn't. So 11 o'clock rolls around, 11:12. I'm getting my thing set up. I'm like, I'm tired. I regret not taking this nap. So I'm getting it set up. First car leaves. I'm on. I'm like, I'm half awake. I had about 900 milligrams of caffeine between 3 cans on the desk in front of me. And by 6 a.m., those cans were gone. Probably not the healthiest decision, but I've made worse. Something also not discussed is the effect the sun has. When the sun comes up on you and you're really tired, you just get this second wind. It's like it's a new day. You didn't sleep a wink, but you're not tired anymore. I was really hoping that second wind would carry me on the bandit. It had an effect. You just feel the effects of sleep deprivation. I'd been awake 24, 25 hours now. Cars are still going, and I'm doing my best to stay alert, stay focused. And I stay awake for the whole runs. It's harder to stay awake at the desk than it is in the car because you don't have that, I don't want to say adrenaline, but you don't feel like you have a job to do. Because if the team gets a ticket, as weird as it is for me to say this, it doesn't affect me because I'm not the one in the car. Like when you're in the car for 24, 30, 36 hours, even more, you have that, all right, I need to tweak the CB, I can play with the scanner, I'm doing binoculars, and at home it's just screen, that's a screen. The risk isn't there. The risk factor of I don't want my friend to get pulled over, it's still there because I don't want people to get tickets, but it's not as extreme as when you're in the car, you look down at a Garmin, it says 120 miles an hour, and you're thinking, wow, I could go to jail for this. I'm watching them doing 120 thinking they need to go faster if they want this time. And I send a message, bump up a little bit. Your average is this, you are this far away, you need this number. And they either do or don't. That's at the end of the day, that's not my decision. I'm just the guy giving them the numbers, where they are, what their average is, where they need to be. Over 100 cars, 3 tickets. I call it 97, 98% success rate for ticket free. And knowing that I've had an impact on that many cars with that many miles, going very fast, 98% success rate seems pretty good.
If you're ready for your next adventure, you're gonna need the right car, and the best way to buy your next car is with the help of Premier Financial Services. The Simple Lease from Premier Financial is the most powerful tool in the world of exotic car financing. You get all the benefits of a traditional loan, like the ability to accumulate equity, pay it off at any time, and they give you a perfectly easy to understand amortization table, but you also get the benefits of a lease, the low payment, the flexible terms, the low down payments, but also you get to use some certain tax benefits that leases entitle you to. They've taken great care of me, and I know they'll take great care of you, so check them out now at the link in the description below.